Whew, I'm excited, guys. Apple has just sent out the invitations and announced the Apple One More Thing event. The YouTube placeholder is also available. You can check that out on YouTube. There's so many things that we want to talk about and so much to expect, and this could change computing forever. Let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, we want to talk about the date itself. The date is November 10th and it's a Tuesday, and the time is going to be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can always reference according to your local time zone, and this is going to be a very important event. We know we are getting Macs because if you look at the AR taser that came with the invitations, it has an Apple logo that is performing that ergonomic function of a Mac. So it's like a MacBook lid that's opening and closing. And just, for reference sake, if you have an iPhone, a regular iPhone, which is not the iPhone 12 that doesn't have the LiDAR sensor, you will notice that, this AR pop-up will take longer to come up, unlike the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 has the LiDAR sensor, so if you click on the AR taser, you'll notice that it will pop up in almost 3 seconds. Shout out to Rene Ritchie. He's the first guy I noticed that mentioned this, and it's something interesting that you would want to check out if you have the iPhone 12. But we definitely know one thing at this event, and it's that we are getting some Macs for sure. Now, when it comes to what we can sort of expect at this event, Apple leaker, a very prominent, well-known Apple leaker, Love to Dream. He has a track record that is over 88% according to the Apple Track website. He basically dreamt or tweeted 13-inch times 2. Currently in the Apple Mac lineup, there's only 2 versions of the MacBook that are 13-inch, and that is the 13-inch MacBook Pro and the 13-inch MacBook Air. So at this event, it's highly anticipated that we are going to see those models. And just to back up Love to Dreams in this case, I guess, Apple released earlier last week macOS Big Sur 11.0.1, and in that release it had reference code that referenced 3 unreleased Macs, and 2 of those were the 13-inch MacBook Pro and the new 13-inch MacBook Air, all bound for release in 2020. The same code had also a reference code that depicted a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now, if you're getting a 16-inch MacBook Pro with Apple Silicon chips, I think that's going to be the ultimate 16-inch and most powerful 16-inch MacBook Pro. So those are the MacBooks that we expect to see. And when it comes to the silicon chip that is going to be powering these Macs, at this time it's being suggested that they are going to have the A14X Bionic chip. Now, this is going to be just the same chip that is in the iPhone 12 and the iPad Air. It's just going to be the A14X Bionic, but very similar to what we have in the new iPhone 12 devices and the new iPad devices that were just released this year. Also, something else that's been suggested at this time, according to Bloomberg, is that there's going to be a new Apple Silicon redesigned Mac Pro, and this is not going to be like the giant box that we had before. It's going to have a smaller form factor, and in fact it's being said at this time that it's going to be like 50% smaller to the current Mac Pro that's there. So I can't wait. I know that the current Mac Pro is big because it has cooling fans, and then it has all the graphics card and also the extra components that you can attach, making it bigger. So it's going to be interesting to see how this smaller Mac Pro device is going to look like, and also how it's going to perform compared to the bigger older brother. Other devices that we could perhaps see, although they are not like highly expected, are like a redesigned Apple TV that is supposed to have higher resolution and also perhaps an A12 or A14 processor and better graphics as Apple tries to enter into the gaming section. And we could also see a refreshed Apple TV remote, as the one that's been there has been like there forever and is getting outdated. Now, John Prosser over on Twitter, he's actually standing by his word that we could at this event perhaps see the review or get a release date at least for the AirPods Studio and AirTags. Some sources are saying that this is something that we might not see, but others are still saying that this is something that is going to come. But then we shouldn't really expect much when it comes to this event, because this is an event that is going to make history for Apple. They have been using Intel-based processors for like a very long time, and I'm sure they are not going to release more product or overcrowd the event with other Apple products or accessories that are going to take focus and main attention from the Apple silicon itself. So when it comes to like more fancy products like the Apple glasses and so on, those things I highly doubt that we see, and I don't even feel like production for those things is ready yet. But you never know, there could be a surprise in 2020 when it comes to the Apple Silicon event. When it comes to perhaps Apple Silicon processors, we know that they are going to be quite different from Intel-based processors, because if you look at Intel-based processors, they use the x86 Intel architecture, which tend to be more and more power hungry. The more powerful it is, the more power it demands, so it becomes very hard to optimize. But unlike Apple Silicon chips, which this time are being said to be very simple in design, in fact a previous Apple developer has mentioned that this could change the way computing works when it comes to processors. So it's a big thing, and if you put it together with macOS Big Sur, which has been in its beta stages for the last 2 months, I'm sure this is something that's going to be powerful and well optimized. So basically, I'm excited. I won't lie, I'm excited for these new Apple Silicon chips. I feel like if they live up to what we are expecting and what the general public is expecting with regards to these Apple Silicon processors, then it's something that could perhaps change computing in a large way. Keep in mind though that Apple is not going to fully transition at once. The whole transition process is going to take about 2 years, so that also needs to be kept in mind, as there is a lot of Intel in Macs even still at this time. So that's about it for me, guys. If you like this video, drop a like and hit subscribe down below, and other than that, stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next video very soon. Peace.